To start designing the surface systems, we should enter the global data first. And then in global data, we should find the group surface systems. And in this group, enter the first available tab, which is the basic data tab. In this tab, we can define which types of the surface systems we would like to design. And depending on these settings, the following tabs will become available. So we can activate the ceiling systems, wall systems, floor systems, or a combination of them. Then beneath, we can define the default parameters for designing the surface heating systems, like minimum temperature drop, maximum temperature drop, maximum pressure drop, etc. The advanced users can modify these values. However, in case of doubts, it's recommended to stay with the default values. We can also define the options for coil painting. And all these values have got the status of the global default values, and they may be redefined for the specific surface types like ceiling, walls, or floors. The next step is entering the data for the specific surface system that we would like to design, floor, wall, and ceiling systems. So let's start with the floor systems. Let's select the installation system and then the pipe. Beneath, we can see the table with available combinations of the diameters and spacing. Later on, we can choose the default diameter, and then we can edit the information about the layers of the heating floor. And we can also modify the parameters for designing and options for the coil painting if they should differ from the global data. In a very similar way, we can edit the values for the other systems, wall systems and ceiling systems. These forms are very similar, only the construction layers are a little bit different. After defining the global default data, we may now create the structures of surface radiators. To do this, we may click Data menu and then Constructions of surface radiators. The catalog of the structures will open. At the moment, we have 3 items in the catalog. All of them have got the symbol default with the seal in the brackets as abbreviation of ceiling, floor, and wall. They inherit the values from the default data. And now we may create some more variants with changing some of the values. So let's add a new item, right-click, and now the command Add. We have to select the type of the surface, for example, underfloor radiator. And let's say we would like to change the covering material. At the moment, this is ceramic tiles as inherited from the global default data. And let's change it into marble, for example. So now marble it's black because it's not inherited from global data anymore. And let's also write marble in the symbol, so we can use it later on in our design, and floor in the bracket. Now we have two constructions for floor devices. One is default with the ceramic covering, and the second is called marble with the marble covering. In the same way, we can create also the structures for other surface types like ceilings and walls. Now I will place the underfloor radiators in the rooms. We have two methods to do this. We can either draw them manually as polygons, or we can insert the radiators automatically in the selected rooms. So let's start with the manual drawing. Here we have quite a big room, and I assume that we need to have two coils in this room because of the size. So let's select the underfloor radiator. Let's pull down this button, and let's say that in this room we would like to have the marble. So let's select it, and now let's draw it as polygon. After creating the polygon, I can use the right mouse key to close it and to start drawing another one. So now I have two coils. Here in the middle I will have the space for the connection pipes, and now I would like to insert the coils also in other rooms, but now automatically. So I have to select the rooms, and to be able to access the rooms I have to switch the working mode into the room zone mode. Now I can use Ctrl A to select all the rooms, and with holding the Shift key I can unselect this big one because I don't want to have any new coils in it. Now this is the button to create the underfloor radiators automatically, so let's click it. We have the dialog, so we can change some parameters, but let's say we would like to keep the default values. So let's click the button Create Radiators Automatically. And now, as you see, we have the coils in all the rooms. Now let's insert the distributors. So to do this, we have to switch into the Accessories tab and select the button for the pair of the flat distributors, pull it down and select the appropriate item. Now let's place it. It rotates to the wall, and after placing, it's got only 3 outlets, so let's extend it, and later on we will be able to correct it. Now let's connect the distributors to the riser. So let's switch into the Pipes tab and select the pair of pipes. So let's click, the first click will be here, the connection to the manifolds. Then here we will need one more click to create the small vertical pipes. And then one click more, and the last one here at the riser. Now let's see the pipes in the 3D visualization. So let's click the 3D button. And now, as you can see, most of the pipe segments are under the floor level. This is because the standard level of the pipe is -5 centimeters. However, the two segments that are connected to distributors are on the distributors levels. Therefore, the program has created two additional vertical pipes to connect the horizontal pipes on different levels. These vertical pipes are in the place where this additional click was. Now, let's connect the underfloor radiators to the distributors. So again, I am choosing the pair of pipes. And one click here, one here, one here, and one here. And in this way, I have connected the first underfloor radiator, and in the same way, I have to connect all the others. It's quite important to connect to the distributors the table label, because this table will present the results of the calculations, including the selected presets. So let's switch into the Structure tab and choose the table label. Now we are going to design the ceiling system. To do this, we have to use the ceiling view. We have the views here. So far, we've been using the floor view, but we have also the ceiling view. Floor plus. Floor plus is basically the floor view, but also with the ceiling system visible, but in gray. Now we cannot see anything yet in gray. And we have the ceiling plus. So this is the ceiling view, but with the floor system in gray. We may also change fast the view with the following two buttons. This button changes between the ceiling view and the floor view. And the next button decides whether we can see the second system in gray. For the ceiling, we have also here the field that is for the ceiling level in the reference to the floor level. The system that we are going to draw in the ceiling view must be connected with the system in the floor view. Therefore, we have to create the small riser. So we have to switch into the ceiling view, and now we have to switch into the ceiling tab and select the button for the riser. Riser connecting the pipes in the ceiling view with the pipes in the floor view. Now we can switch back to the floor view and connect the risers with the other pipes. The next step is to draw the ceiling heating system. It is done in exactly the same way as in case of the underfloor heating system. The main difference is that it's been done in the ceiling view. The next step is to create the wall system. And to do this, we have to create the wall views. So we have to switch into the wall tab, and here are two important tools. This one creates the wall view for the specific wall, and this one creates the view label. So we can show the view of the wall in the drawing with the floor view. So let's create some wall views, one for this wall and one for this one. And now let's add the labels. So one label for this wall and one for this one. So now we can draw the coil in the wall view. So to access the wall view, we can double click this label. And now we can switch into the wall tab and choose the wall radiator. And we can draw it as a polygon. So we have already the coil, and now we can draw the small connection pipes. And now we can click the button Update Connection, so we have the connection points that connects the wall view with the floor view. The connection points that were created in the wall view are now also visible in the floor view. So we can connect to them the connection pipes and connect them to the distributors that are typically drawn in the floor view. The program may create also the axonometric drawing of the system. To do this, we have to switch into the axonometry tab and click the Update button. And then the axonometry has been created. The program has created the axonometric drawing automatically. But here we have many options, so we can customize the view. We may also, for example, switch off the walls. And we may also add the labels, because the program adds automatically the labels to rooms and the radiators. But we may prefer to reorganize them, move them for example, or add labels to other elements like pipes or accessories. We may also view the system in the 3D visualization. The program has also the function of calculating the resulting cooling power for the surface devices. To activate this function, we first have to activate the cooling model. So we have to enter the global data and then basic data tab, and then activate the central cooling model. Then, after performing the calculations, the resulting cooling output can be read in the table. So we can go to the results and then floor heating radiators. And then in the table we can read the resulting cooling power for the surface devices working in the cooling mode. These values also can be shown in the table label connected to the distributor.